Okay, so a lot of new content has been released recently and there is more to come in the future, so for now I'll just give you the run through on the 3 new commanders that are coming into the game because they look strong. So let's get into it now. First we have 2 archer commanders being released, which are Shajar al-Dur and Cho. Shajar is a strong open field commander that does 2800 direct damage factor to the target, and the target also loses 50% march speed for 3 seconds if she is the primary commander. But if she is a secondary commander, then she does a mighty heal of 2000, and for the next 10 seconds when she heals anything, then she will deal 80% of that heal strength as true damage. I don't know if the 2000 mighty heal will also be counted for the true damage or if the 10 seconds starts after that. I don't know, maybe you could tell me in the comments, but in both cases the target still loses 50% march speed for 3 seconds. Then her second skill offers 35% health and 20% march speed. Boom, insane. Archers are winning again. Then the third skill makes her take 10% less normal damage, and when her active skill fires, then her and 2 other marches will get 500 mighty healing, and that should tie in with her active skill, inflicting true damage, whatever that is. Her fourth skill reduces all damage by 20% when she's on the field, which is just insane. And the second part of that same skill is conditional to the field as well, and what that does is when her army gets down to 60%, then she will mighty heal for 5000, and then her army will lose 40% attack, but she will also take 40% less damage for 8 seconds, and that resets when she re-enters your city. The reduced 20% all damage is all that you needed. The second part is debatable because you don't know if you want that when you're on the field, but maybe 60% is a perfect time to get a big heal buff like that, so who knows. And finally, her expertise offers 10% defense and deals 20% more normal damage for the next 3 seconds when she heals, but those buffs are only applied to the troops that were healed. So on paper she sounds great. She has a new skill mechanic too, which is true damage, and she has 65% of defensive stats among other ways to be tankier. She's basically a faster super tank with not that many ways to deal damage, so she seems strong, but good luck. She reminds me of Leonidas but with the way better active skill, and she's faster than him as well. Next up we have Cho Young. He's the next Archer Garrison commander that will be coming to the game through the Mighty as Governor event. And what his active skill does is for the next 10 seconds when this commander heals a target, it will deal 80% of that healing as true damage to up to 5 targets. And he also does a mighty healing of 1400, so I guess 80% of that, but up to 5 targets. His second skill offers 30% defense, which is awesome, and 5% march speed. But why 5% though? They basically gave him an extra toe and said you could probably walk faster with that, right? I'm just thinking why 5%? But I guess I'll take it, I guess. Even a cactus can enjoy some spit in the desert. And if he only has archers in his army, then he also deals 10% more normal damage, so that's a really awesome skill in general. The third skill takes 20% less normal damage. Solid. And then if he is in a garrison, then basic attacks have a 20% chance to ignore the target's health and defense buffs for 5 seconds with no cooldown, which sounds crazy strong to me. If it ignores buffs like armaments, commander buffs, and gear, then I would be scared honestly, but I don't know how it works. I'm just a guy. Maybe it means field troop buffs. Anyways, moving on to his fourth skill. If his target is a rallied army, then all healing is increased by 45%. I take that as more healing means more true damage. And then also on that same skill, every time an active skill is used, the target loses 10% health for 7 seconds, and that can stack up to 5 times, and it does reset if something happens, but I don't know what that is. It doesn't say here. And then finally for his expertise, it offers 25% counterattack, and it can further increase by 15% if the target has less troops than this commander. Honestly, these guys sound like they're a new tier of strength. Shajar being tanky and faster answers the needs of archers in many ways. They suffered from being slow and squishy, and that was the perfect answer to it. Give it that there's no AoE, but shut up, cause she sounds great. As for Cho, I think he's strong. I'm not educated in archers, but for sure he's tanky, and he has interesting ways to output damage, but we'll just have to wait for testing. And finally, for the last commander, we have Prime Ragnar. I don't even care that he was already a legendary commander. I just don't see how you skip Sun Tzu Prime again. Just give me that. And give him 10,000 damage factor to 40 targets and we'll be happy. But yeah, Ragnar is a new infantry guy, and his first skill deals skill damage, not smite, to up to 3 targets, and they take extra damage factor for a few seconds. By the way, they haven't released the numbers yet, so that's why I can't give you the full details. But AoE with more damage factor over time sounds like another Scipio Prime to me. His second skill offers defense and march speed, and the second part to that same skill is if he only has infantry units, then he takes less normal damage, so 2 methods of tankiness already, and they gave him march speed as well. He's starting to sound like the new archer commanders too. His third skill is conditional to field fighting troops, and when he's hit with the basic attack, he has a chance to temporarily drain the target's attack and march speed, and whatever he took, he gives it to himself for whatever amount of time they decide to give him. Then his fourth skill is also conditional to being on the field, so not in a rally or garrison, so when he's on the field he takes less skill damage, and that's his third method already on being tanky, and once he has a certain amount of rage, he gains extra skill damage for a few seconds. And for his expertise, it says the same thing as the main active skill, so I feel like without the expertise, he casually deals skill damage to 3 targets, and with the expertise, he does extra damage factor to the target for a few seconds. But I don't know, we'll find out eventually. So, what do I think of these guys? Shajar seems to be fast and tanky for you archer guys. I hope she's better than Boudica. I don't know who you would pair her with, but she seems solid in my opinion. Then for Cho, I think you pair him in a garrison with either Shajar, but I doubt that kinda since half her skills are conditional to the field, but Dido and Heraclius might be your only option, but like I said, I don't know. But for the new Ragnar, his skills are amazing. AoE, march speed, and 3 forms of tankiness, the guy's golden. I just wish he had some attack, but beggars can't be choosers. He would be just like Guan Yu, but instead of attack, he's extra beefy. So you would then bench your Guan Yu and pair him with Scipio. That would mean double AoE, double march speed, Scipio brings the attack and Ragnar brings the extra tankiness, but again like I said with the other two, who knows. But for Ragnar, if he has really no numbers, then he will be a flop despite his amazing skills. But yeah, that's it for the video. Later.